Sir, I have that update on the operation. Is everything all right?
Fine. Everything is fine. The excitement of the project coming to fruition, that's all. Nothing to be worried about, Commander.
What's up, Raimi?
So Volks is possessed by Satan. But we don't have time to worry about that. We're still in the midst of saving Bryson's life. He's been eaten by a giant slug. So he's just gonna take a little rest. We need to remember a certain code for extraction, but
Yes, Raimi.
he can't remember it. His head's been rattled around. He's been forced into a coma. Almost had his soul removed from his body. A little stressful. Maybe after he calms down a bit,
Yes, Raimi.
it'll come to him. And he's got a clever way of determining whether the person running up to him brandishing a gun is his friend Raimi or an enemy. Just give him our hand gesture. That should tip him off. Just throwing a grenade over here for no reason. There we go. And a few more soldiers waiting over here. And that was the entire point of this little bridge. Pretty elaborate area. It's got this crane, the platform down there, and scrolling boxes, which we can shoot. Some of them are marked boom to encourage us to shoot them, and others fragile, which is just as much begging for us to shoot them. But I don't see any more that are thusly labeled, which means we gotta start taking out these ones. Really, it's the size, not the labels, which determines whether or not they can be destroyed. Smaller ones cannot, but once you destroy the larger ones, we get a cutscene that directs our attention over to the crane platform, where a teddy bear has materialized. Gigi hated those boxes, so she wanted us to take them out for her, and has rewarded us with one of her many teddy bears. Funny thing is, if we were to jump down onto this crane platform before we had done the prerequisite box destruction, we still would have been able to get the collectible. It just would have been invisible. But the hitbox to grab it would have still been there. A small programming oversight. That's actually how I got that collectible on both of my previous runs of this level. But gotta show off the little cutscene when you do it the right way. I believe that is back where Bryson is. Use the box structures to orient myself. Maybe reload a little bit, because the place is crawling with soldiers. There's one more up in the control room. We'll kill him in due time. Just gotta get this host collectible first. One more for more multiplayer junk, which I will likely show off at some point, the interesting ones that we unlock. Because you do get a lot of unique content in the multiplayer mode, which fortunately can be played solo. Now we got to head up to the second level. This guy's gonna pop his head up any second now. There he is. There we go. Don't have to worry about him anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts in this room. honestly kind of distracting as to what you're supposed to do, because the last room is also incredibly elaborate, although mostly pointless unless you want that one secret and don't want to cheat your way into getting it. We've got this room over here, which is utterly pointless. It just leads to a locked door. And some little text boxes. Casual observations from Raimi. All we really need to do is come up here, find this complicated control panel, which has one giant glowing button. The red, candy-like button. And when we press it, a bunch of boxes fly by. Moving containers seems to be going to some other area. Because there's a slight delay after you hit the button before the boxes start moving past, it is entirely possible to not even realize that that's what the button does. And at that point, you've just got no idea what to do next. So you go back into the last room, investigate the boxes more, investigate the lower level that you can ghost your way down to. You will find nothing. Even if you do happen to notice that there are boxes moving past, you may not observe them, and even if you observe them, you may not realize that they then gain a red aura, indicating that you can possess them. So, finally, Anna Richardson is relieved of duty. We are heading into a different area. She's killed all the Volks soldiers she needs to for one lifetime. We don't actually know that. Maybe, after our possession, she'll continue being a badass and destroying the Volks Corporation from the inside. We can only hope. Maybe we'll see that in Geist 2. If we depart our boxes before they reach their final destination, we can head off to that little secret area, warp through a gate, grab a ghost collectible. The first time in the game that being able to walk through certain gates has been actually a useful feature. This brings us to a gross storage room with a host collectible, but we're not in a host, tragically. Bunch of storage shells. Apparently this is a pantry. We can't really tell from the items here. We might be able to tell from this item, though. It is Shade brand potato chips. The rats are having a feast. They are, in fact, incredibly content, so we won't be possessing them. They are thrilled, not scared. We can possess this old TV, though. And it appears to have a scare function. It's just, let Raimi be creative. Sets the thing on standby. The rats love standby TV. Uh-oh. Cat vision. That is horrifying. And honestly, a cat leaping out of the TV would scare pretty much anybody, but it's certainly the worst case scenario if you're a rat. Which we now are. We're having a flashback to a traumatic moment in our lives where many of our rat friends died to rat poison. That will surely be relevant at some point, but we're a little short to get that collectible. We'll have to clean up that fire hazard some other time. And another rat hole. Always gotta have one of these around when there's rats about. One thing I noticed is that they mapped our vocalization to the left trigger, which is what the dog had jump mapped to, which was very, very irritating. And the dog's vocalization was mapped to the A button. They could have very easily swapped those. Would have been consistent from a game design standpoint, and better from a gameplay standpoint. There's the rat poison. which we remember so traumatically. So we will avoid it. Look around this room. Volks brand good stuff. They may be an evil corporation that is trying to kill basically everybody. But we do respect their product quality. We are basically Amazon fanboys. This Raimi guy. He's a bit of a tech industry sociopath, so no big surprise there. All we needed the rat for was to go through the tunnel, so now we need to be a ghost to go through more tunnels. We got a radio over here, but as we know, we don't have the code to do anything with the radio. So the nearest door we can go through is here in the mess hall. Let's do so. Find a bunch of soldiers lined up to presumably have a meal. And a chef with headphones on, doing the dishes. There appears to be something cooking in the oven. And several possessible objects here. We can't turn far enough to scare the soldiers. We could scare them by showing them plates flying off the shelves of their own volition. They're not interested. All the shattering sounds, they don't care. And the chef, he don't care either, because he's got the headphones on. If only we could throw him harder. We could whack him in the back of the head, get his attention, and induce him into trembling horror so we could overtake his body. But that doesn't seem to be the way things are going right now. We can also hop in the oven. Once we're in here, hammering the A button will increase the temperature and burn whatever he was cooking. Really, if the soldiers saw the condition of the kitchen back here, they might also immediately become fearful. It's like bad mojo back here. But no. They are not privy to that information. And our chef, he don't care. He's like that guy from You Can't Do That on Television. A lot of references people aren't going to get, but I'm going to make them anyway.
Oh no!
So, now the chef finally realizes he's in a pretty bad situation. He's going to try to put out the fire by waving his arms wildly. Now we're supposed to possess the previously useless stack of dishes, which have, for no good reason, gained a great deal of force. We've learned how to really whip these things. We hit him in the face twice with ceramic plates. That's gotta really, really hurt. But it's also really scary. And that's all we care about. Bryson's waiting on the other side of the locked door. I wish Gigi would be a little more specific, but not today. So we started a fire back here. Apparently it's out. Waving his arms actually did work. Surprisingly clean fryer. It's about the only thing that's clean back here. Pot of hot water for soup. We'll have to keep that in mind.
Sir.
And some very hungry soldiers. So hungry. They're mad at us for leaving, but they're not going to do anything about it. That said, we are going to help them out. Just a little bit. Because we've got soup mix back here. Combined with the hot water, that should make some terrible soup. But, more importantly, the pantry's back here. Which means another host collectible. We've unlocked the Chef and the Rat. Can reenact Ratatouille. There's a reference people might actually get. But it is back to cooking. We've got our tomato soup concentrate, I guess. Just add water. And serve. Never mind the sinister music or the evil laugh soldiers. Little do they know, they're about to be served gross soup. Coming this October. Really, they're just upset that it's nothing but tomato paste in hot water.
Sir.
Yeah, it's definitely missing something. But they did stop yelling at us. Their hunger is very briefly satiated by what is basically a bowl of ketchup. That means we can go get host collectibles and explore this upper level without being harassed. So we got a data room. Glad they label everything so clearly. Honestly, the signage in this underground secret facility is phenomenal for how messed up absolutely everything else is. Oh hey, I guess that was the locked door, which was not locked. Because there's Bryson. Never would have found it without Gigi telling us. We still can't really make toast.
Raimi.
Gotta clear out those 4 unarmed soldiers, because there's no way we could handle such a threat. Hey, he remembered the radio phrase, Loud American, on 104.1. He also wants to get past his retinal scanner. I have a feeling that we don't have permission to get through there.
Raimi.
And Bryson can't hack it. It is outside of his skill set, but he does remind us of the code and the code phrase. The ever-appropriate Loud American. Raimi's not very loud. He is the silent evil type. So, we're at a bit of an impasse here. Luckily, there are numerous other areas to explore. There's the lounge. There's this spot. The old, Closet of Wonders. The rat we left here went back to his friends. Or maybe ate some rat poison. Hopefully not, though. But, we can take it. Our chef might have some, bad ideas at the moment, because he's currently possessed by Raimi, the sociopath. Printouts and handwritten notes on demonic physiology. See, the demons were introduced before we, opened the floodgates to hell. Obviously, they had been dabbling in hell, but in a very controlled way. It's kind of odd that the demons were already being dissected, and there's that weird tentacle monster as the boss of the first level, all before we destroyed the ethereal portal. But that might be among the least of this game's weird storytelling quirks. Anyway, let's make some more soup. The soldiers are hungry again. This time, we will put nothing but rat poison in the hot water. And then serve that. Now the sinister music makes a lot of sense. That might be an effective way of incapacitating all these soldiers. It tastes kind of funny, but also delicious. The soup expert loves it. And then they all die. Objective complete. So let's take a look at some of the posters around here. Apparently the Volks Corporation also makes delicious foods. And weird, like, Russian propaganda posters for those delicious foods. Guy in, like, military outfit. Just chowing down. With a palate so refined, can't tell the difference between soup and poison. I'm gonna leave our good friend, the chef, back here in the kitchen. And explore the rest of the facility. Do something we actually could have done before we inhabited the chef and did all the stuff we just did. We could just as easily have come over here to the lounge and just checked out the lounge. Bunch of stuff to see and do here. We got an NES and an SNES. They know it's a Let's Play. At this point, we've seen an NES, an SNES, and a GameCube. They've skipped a generation, which I feel to be a rather egregious error. There is a scientist across the room. Mildly irritated that the widescreen TV has gone all staticky. Not gonna do anything about it. But it did alert us to his presence. Maybe we should go bother him some more. Maybe play some chess with him. Just standing here, staring at the bulletin all day long, this guy. Can't do anything else. Everything else is behind locked doors. But we do have a soda machine. You can shake it around like we lost a quarter in there. Didn't even take a good look at what kind of sodas we have. One of them appears to be called Kelpie. Hope it does not contain actual kelp. And the rest can't get too good of a look at their joke names. Too bad. With our second interaction, we shoot soda cans all over the floor, which means we can now possess them, roll them over to the scientist, blow him up in his face. The fact that they came to life and exploded only mildly worries him. So this guy has nerves of steel. We gotta keep at him to really break his will. Inhabit the disgusting sink faucet. Give him the old blood sink gag. Yeah, that actually is pretty damn scary. Probably didn't warrant that stock cartoon screaming sound effect. And while we're in the bathroom, pick up, I believe, the final host collectible for the level? pretty sure we are all stocked up on collectibles. It did bring us close to the nasty, unwashed urinal. Surprisingly, most of the bathroom not disgusting. And we can't go in there, because we are no longer Anna Richardson. But we've done what we gotta do here. Now, we can go punch in our radio codes. Call for extraction. Start to make our way out of here, finally. Some kind of objective has been completed. And very slowly enter our code. Fortunately, the numbers are quite low, so that's the most we ever have to turn. And that should do it.
We're on our way. Get out to the helicopter pad.
Apparently, Raimi said loud American off screen because we can never hear him speak. There are a few video game protagonists that are like that. Like, supposedly there are Legend of Zelda games where Link canonically is speaking, you just don't hear it or see the text specifically. But he must have said something because of the way the characters respond to it. And also, apparently, Hotline Miami, Jacket is canonically speaking throughout that game, but his dialogue is cut out to increase the mystery and also make him appear to be a different sort of protagonist than he actually is. So that's a thing video games can do artistically. And this one appears to be doing the same.
What's up, Raimi?
We're looking like our old self.
Yes, Raimi.
We've got our extraction code, but we still need to get into this room for some reason. Bryson knows something we don't. I guess now's a good time to mention that John Raimi is a freelance, specialist who works on all sorts of, scientific terrorist movements and stuff. Right now he's conscripted by the CDC to investigate Volks Corp. And Bryson works for the CDC, I believe.
Raimi.
And that's why they've crossed paths, as they often do. Their exploits bring them into contact very frequently, but they do not work under the same organization. It is just coincidence that has made them longtime friends. Nope, that's not it. Our objectives. Gain access to the PC room. And we need to download some data. Now we've got the PDF, so I don't know what Bryson's doing. But while he's doing that, we'll play with this computer. Look at some other soulless victims of the separation plot. Like Forrest Crump. Poor guy. Might be happy to have left his body. Brian Miller. He's got less to worry about in the name department. Amy Williams. Petra Cooper. John Raimi. And he ain't dead anymore.
Yes, Raimi.
So, here's Volks' big plan. He's going to infiltrate the Paris summit with his spectral operatives. He's going to possess some of the world leaders and use them to assassinate the other world leaders. Then in the chaos, he's going to take over the countries that his possessed world leaders are the leaders of. And probably take over the world or something. He's certainly going to do a lot of global damage. with what appears to be Project Z.
Yes, Raimi.
Bryson now flashes his security badge at us every time we speak to him. Don't know why they chose that animation, but now we gotta head back to the lounge, because the lounge leads to an area we need to go to escape. Oh, also, we did gain a new objective. While Bryson was downloading the data, we learned that our body has regained autonomy, and we need to get it back from whoever is infesting it now. We missed the thing. Although this scientist here, he's pretty spry. Most of the characters who don't have like a gun or something, they have a sprint function. Now, when we enter this room, Bryson appears at the door behind us. There he is. We need to wait for that to happen.
Yes, Raimi.
And when it does happen, an alarm sounds, and our problems are compounded. They brought out a dog, which means they knew our scientist was possessed, and they slaughtered him. And since you can do this in the reverse order of how I did it, you could also bring the chef in here, and they would have a cutscene where they gun down the chef.
Raimi, is that you? Damn it! That won't hold for long. Raimi, think you could give me a hand?
For some reason, he knew the code to close the door. Oh, real quick, before we help Bryson, we will look at this giant hole that one of the monsters burrowed. We can head in there. It only goes like a few feet deep. Lazy monsters. And there's another one over here that is glowing red. Identical text. We spared the dog, thankfully. Haven't killed a dog yet. That's the Paragon route in this game. No unnecessary dog murder. So now we have sort of a reverse action scene, where Bryson is like an action hero, but we need to protect him. After we clear out a spot, he will move to the next one. And then they'll pin him down with suppressive fire, and we will possess something in order to save him. Repeat until victory is achieved. In this case, we got an exploding gas canister. Thank God soldiers are just willing to stand next to these things at all times. Thank God Volks Corp is so poorly maintained that they just leave these things all over the place, so they're practically unavoidable. We'd be having a real hard time. Bryson would actually have to use his gun to save himself. But it's weird that he's like a military-trained badass. Our character is like a nerdy scientist who happens to have no morals whatsoever. And we are much, much, much better with a gun than he is. Can't explain it. We got, I think, well, there's canister over there. Ah, grenades. Perfect. Like I said, they're unavoidable. Just explosives everywhere around here. Can't blow up the grenade box directly, but we can spill its contents, roll them over to the feet of our dangerous foes, blow them to hell. Bryson will gracefully step over their corpses to get to the next spot. The next spot is right down here, underneath this crane. What's this crane holding? A crate full of rockets. Good thing this is the most not worker safe building ever. But the crate only killed one guy, so now we possess the rockets. Use the C stick to aim them and fire them off right into a guy's gut. I believe that detonated the other ones that were lying on the ground, creating a large enough explosion to kill both of the soldiers who had Bryson pinned down.
He's over there. Get him.
Weird brief action scene there. Let's drain this fern, just to show off what that looks like. Because it does wilt for quite a while. So the real danger is the turret, which we can not only neutralize, but turn against the Volks Corp soldiers. We got a second one over here, causing problems, chewing through Bryson's health. And then a bunch of guys followed us through the door we just came through. Up. I think there's another one there. There we go.
Come on, start! Let's get her!
That gave Bryson a chance to find a cyber motorcycle. But of course, it's Volks Corp, so it doesn't work. Total piece of garbage. I mean, this is basically a Tesla factory, so of course nothing works and nothing is safe for anybody. That's why we need to solve it as a ghost. We could just let these approaching soldiers live and get close enough to actually damage Bryson. That is very obviously not a good idea. But at this point, we do have the capacity to complete the level, whether or not the soldiers are dead. Because we can hop in the motorcycle. Doesn't have a sidecar, but we're a ghost. Then we hammer on that A button, and off we go. Level complete. Honestly, one of the most badass moments of the game. Just being a motorcycle that your friend is escaping on. But obviously, that's not the end of it. We gotta actually go through the escape sequence. So we're driving. And safely getting Bryson through these remote mines. Because he's not much of a driver himself. There are soldiers who will attack him. That's where our ghost powers come in handy. Because, as usual, the soldiers are standing next to explosives. Take them out. So even the, really heart-pounding action moments of this game have, built-in moments of slow, methodical, strategic gameplay. because this is much more of a puzzle game than an action game. Did Bryson quite a lot of harm by driving him over a remote mine. Proximity mine, even. But we're fine now, because I have a ridiculously overpowered Gatling gun. Use it to take out anything that tries to threaten Bryson, who has now learned to drive on his own. If you do not possess the Gatling gun fast enough, it will murder Bryson in seconds. This section can actually be quite difficult. But once you know what the issues are going to be, you just get in that Gatling gun, and it's all over. For some reason, the driver of this vehicle doesn't care that we are killing everybody else he's supposed to be working with. Stage complete, but we have a boss fight. Sonic Adventure style boss fight. At this point, it is useful to know that we can zoom in somehow and hit the weak points on the giant murder truck. Blow out its wheels. Blow out the grate on the front of the vehicle, which exposes the engine, which we can then, if we're careful, obliterate it. Roll its flaming husk over Bryson's character model, but don't worry about it, he's fine. We survived. With just a sliver of health. Very fun section, though. Excellent set piece to close out our escape. That does leave the matter of the guy driving the Gatling gun vehicle, but he was very cooperative throughout the run. Maybe he is on our side now.
Bryson, this is Archangel. If you can hear this, we are on approach. ETA 7 minutes.
I can hear you, CR2. Do you read me? Damn, why isn't this thing working? Archangel, do you copy? Archangel, the LZ is compromised. I count at least 2 anti-air units, maybe more. Do you read me? Do not approach. Do not approach. Raimi, it'll take me a while to get around this gate. Can you do anything to take out the defenses? We need to save that CR2 chopper.
At this point, we are separated from Bryson. That fence is going to keep him busy indefinitely. Soldiers are just going to sort of run past him. And not much we can do about it. But we do need to take down these anti-air missiles. Or else they'll destroy our escape copter, and then we're screwed. So our fun section of escorting Bryson, going back and forth, using objects in the area to defend him, is at an end. We're doing a more standard exploration mission at this point. It was fun while it lasted, though. I feel like the basic idea of it could be improved somewhat. Like, if you could do, like, action stuff while your AI partner is also doing action stuff. Oh, let's start a little chaos going. Which immediately worries this guy, who's right by the gate that Bryson is trying to cut his way through. And now we have a possession victim, but we need to clear a path for him, because he'll just die if we try to walk him past these turrets and all these other enemy soldiers. That's one turret down. And another. So this route is clear, at least. But yeah, being able to back up Bryson as a ghost, very fun idea. Reasonably well executed, definitely could have been done better. The game, Mind a Jack absolutely atrocious Xbox 360 game also used that same basic idea as its like core gameplay conceit, particularly in multiplayer, where you would, help your friend by possessing objects in the area. And I think you could also possess people in the area. And, it was pretty cool. It's somewhat surprising that no games have really done that better. And also, this game could have really benefited from having a sweet Steve that we could possess, drive around. The fact that it's sort of a low-level sci-fi situation that we're in limited us, because it would have been nice to have robots that we could drive around. Something mobile, so that we could be part of the action directly, instead of just non-mobile turrets. But speaking of, we're gonna hop in another one of those, clear out another area. It's a bit tedious, this section, because we really just gotta destroy everything before our one soldier even gets there. Because the only weapon he has access to is proximity mines. I'm also gonna make this thing destroy itself. I don't think it will bother us after we possessed it once, but just in case. Then get stuck behind the row of boxes. Now return to our required host. One soldier has gotten pretty close to him, but didn't spot him tucked away back here. So we will head over near where this guy is. We can manually destroy the mines. Their explosion radius is pathetic, apparently. So yeah, we do not want to get involved in direct combat. Our character is useless. That door is locked, and will remain locked forever. Kind of a pointless door, but also the slip portal. Every one of these towers has a slip portal, and they're all useless. The only reason I could see using them is if you managed to get in here while there were still soldiers and turrets down at the bottom of the tower, and then you had to go back down there as a ghost to take out the enemies before you brought down your proximity mine guy. Because, as demonstrated, he can't fight to save his life. Quite literally. So, our next tower is at the top of a cliff. That's a bit of a problem. But there's a fourth one, right over here. We got boxes underneath a gun turret. Same setup we've seen a few times now. Which is why I said this segment was rather tedious. It's pretty much the same thing 4 times. And this third tower has a path that leads to the fourth tower, which is now slightly closer to our required host. Thus, we will clear out both towers at the same time, speed things up just a tiny little bit, make this a little bit more efficient. I will turn down this gunfire in post, because it is deafening. Each one of these turrets is much, much louder than any other gunfire we will hear in the game. And hearing 4 turrets going at the same time, quite awful. Audio balance is also not one of this game's strong suits. I was not quite done with the turret, but that's fine. In fact, we'll possess this turret, kill this guy, and when we come through, we can either drop a mine on this thing, since it's immobile, that will be relatively easy, or we will just creep around it, try not to get hit by it. Although the button is right here, so we will probably have to drop a mine on it. But that's all the soldiers taken care of, and we still have nearly half of our time limit, so we should be pretty much fine. There are several health packs we can collect. Barely taken any damage thus far, but I will still top off as soon as I see a health pack I can reach. There's one over here, actually. If we go up onto the helipad, there's nothing, but if we drop down a level, health pack. That one's destroyed. And repeat the process ad nauseum. Bryson still just rubbing his hands on that fence, tearing apart the wires one by one. Just excuse ourselves. And head on to the last tower. There it is. Had to manually detonate that thing. And look at a cutscene of some soldiers hanging out. I guess they spawned in now. They're new soldiers. That's why we had to see them. But whatever. This means that gun turret might have actually been useful, but the soldiers will try and sneak up in the route up to this cliff area, but we could just jump off the cliff and we'll be fine. And we'll also initiate a cutscene as soon as we destroy the 4th tower, so it didn't matter at all.
Wait, he's a friend. I understand why you want to stay. Once I get this data back to CR2, I'll come back for you, John. I swear it.
Sir, we have to go, now.
Be careful, Raimi. You're not the only ghost around here.
All those times we saved Bryson just for our animated corpse to finally take him out. Now, at this point, he's died so many times, hard to take that seriously, but maybe he's dead for real now. There's us, silent as ever. Whoever possessed him does a real good us impression. He's also running away at a preposterously fast rate, because we're in slow motion in ghost mode here, so he can see us and run at normal speed while we're in ghost slowdown mode. Very impressive. But that was a weird mixed bag of a level. Pretty fun, but it did take out Bryson once and for all. So I guess we're going back into ghost puzzle solving mode in the future updates as we try to reclaim our rightful body.